and City Stories reporter Holly Bridges set out to collect some memories.
For decades, the most famous spot in Mission Valley has been Qualcomm Stadium, also formerly known as Jack Murphy Stadium. It has been home of the San Diego Chargers, Padres, and Aztecs, and the giant used car tent sale. The giant cement structure has been a big bowl of different types of memories and experiences for those that attended, played, and worked there. Joe Cokerhans has been a longtime Padres fan and was there in the stands from the beginning days through the end of their homestand at the Q.
I happened to attend the very first San Diego Padre game in April of 1969. And now, opening day is such a big event. It sells out months in advance. Though in the opening day for the Padres, there were like 23,000 people there. So it was hardly a sellout. But the Padres did win, so we thought that was a beginning of good things. Of course, many, many years later, they finally had their first winning season. And I was fortunate enough to also see them play in the World Series there in 1998. I've been there for their largest crowds at Qualcomm Stadium, 60,000 plus for a baseball game, and their smallest, less than 2,000 back in the early 70s.
Former San Diego Chargers star running back Terrell Fletcher played 8 years with the team and squirted through defenses and ran all over the field. He shares the cool things he got to see and do at the Q.
I used to enjoy watching them transfer the field from a baseball stadium to a football stadium. During the preseason, the Padres would still be in season. So you could literally be at a baseball game Saturday morning, and by Saturday night, it'd be transferred into a football stadium. They'd fill in the dirt and put in I just thought that was a cool thing because the operations of it was so fast and so succinct. In 1 minute, it looks like a baseball stadium, and within 8 hours, it looks like a football stadium, with lines and an end zone and the whole shebang. Watching those guys, and those were some of the coolest guys, too. Those are the people that never get the credit.
And what was it like to run out of the tunnel?
So you walk out, you got 70,000 people screaming, and the fire is going, and the cannon is blowing. It's elation. It really is. You run through that tunnel and you know that I've got 53 brothers and we're about to get it on with somebody that doesn't like us as much as we don't like them. Who really gets to do that? It's less than 1% of all human beings that get to do that. And most of us have been dreaming about it from the time we could remember dreaming.
Zeke Moreno, a Chula Vista native and former Chargers linebacker, recounts his time as a player.
To go out there for the CIF championship with our high school team, you always wish. Everyone talks about playing at Qualcomm because you're the pro for that day. 2 opportunities to play there, and it's something that you carry with you for the rest of your life. That you walk amongst gods, for saying the football life. This is where Junior Seau, his locker rooms. This is where Rodney Harrison and all the Natron Means and all these guys. 8 years later, I would have been in the same position. In this walls in the locker room and coming out that tunnel. First time I started running down that tunnel, hearing the fans, scream my name, all my family support up in the stands.
There were jokes in the locker room. Zeke Moreno.
One of our trainers, and he would cut out their faces and he would create these little collages, and he would have, Ronnie Harrison in the jacuzzi with, whatever that advertisement was. And it was just so funny and it was only on game days. This was our prep. So that's the first thing you did. You come into the locker room, you drop off all your stuff, and you go in the training room and see who's on the board. And it was hilarious. Everyone was, it kind of lightens up the environment.
Craig Chatfield used to work inside the live network TV video trucks as an editor.
There was one time this director for Channel 4 was walking out of the truck, misstepped, and took a plunge onto the concrete about 7 feet below. Hurt himself pretty good, not horribly, but hurt himself enough to where the next day when we came in, the camera guys had got a bunch of white tape and did a chalk outline in white tape of where he fell. And it stayed there for quite a while.
But not all of the fans have behaved well in the stadium, and I'm not talking about Raiders fans.
People would, of course, streak on the field, men and women naked, but there was a lot of sex up in the stands, a lot of nudity. A lot of women would flash their breasts, but they had just enough of their clothes off to where they were able to go ahead, and they'd be up in the upper rows, and all of a sudden a camera guy would see him, and he'd go up and pan up there, and there would be a couple.
There may be a day when the stadium no longer holds 67,000 screaming fans, but the place will always hold unique memories for players, fans, workers, and somewhere out there, a young boy or girl that drove around the empty parking lot trying to learn how to drive. For City Stories, I'm Holly Bridges.